I brought dinner, I called as I pushed the door open, my voice light, like I was carrying more than just takeout. You're sweet, Liam said, stepping from the kitchen. He kissed my forehead, warm and casual. I'm proud of you. Always working so hard. Don't make me sound boring. I laughed, setting the bag down. You're not boring, he said, pulling plates from the cabinet. You're unstoppable. That word made me smile, but somewhere deep down, I wished I knew if he still meant it. My phone buzzed. Ava's name flashed. I answered quickly. Amara, you machine, Ava teased. Still alive after another late night? Barely, I said, sinking into a chair, but I finished the report. You're insane, Iron Girl. Do you ever rest? Don't flatter me, I replied, though I liked the way she said it. Liam leaned closer. Tell her I said hi. Liam says hi, I repeated into the phone. Ava laughed. Tell him I'll steal you one day. I rolled my eyes. Not happening. After dinner, I packed my bag for the next morning. I had an early meeting, and I hated rushing. Liam hovered near the window, scrolling his phone. You'll burn yourself out, he said. I like being prepared, he shrugged. That's what makes you you. The words landed soft, but his eyes never left his screen. The next evening, I stayed late at the office. The halls were dim, the cleaners humming with vacuums. My head throbbed from too much coffee. As I walked toward the stairwell, I heard laughter, sharp, careless. My name slipped through the crack of an office door. Amara, a voice said, muffled but clear. I froze. Another laugh followed. Not kind, not friendly. She really doesn't notice anything, does she? A woman's voice added. Something cold wrapped around my spine. I leaned closer, heart thudding, but stopped myself. My hand shook against the stair rail. Don't be paranoid, I whispered. It's nothing. I forced myself down the stairs, step by step, until I reached the street. On the walk home, the city lights blurred. My thoughts swirled faster than traffic. Was it Ava? Her voice had that same lilting edge. Or was it someone else? I argued with myself. You're being dramatic. You're overtired. It's nothing. But the laughter clung to me. When I reached home, Liam was stretched across the couch. You look pale, he said, turning down the TV. Rough day? Just long, I replied, dropping my bag. He opened his arms. Come here. I let him hold me, but the sound of my name echoing behind. That door wouldn't leave. What are you thinking about? He asked softly. Work. I lied. Don't let them eat you alive, he said. I won't. We sat in silence. His arms were strong around me, but something about them felt distant, like a wall instead of warmth. I wanted to ask, do you still see me? Do you still love me the same way? But the words stayed stuck in my throat. Instead, I whispered, thank you for dinner last night. He kissed the top of my head. Always. Later, I stared at the ceiling in the dark. Ava's laughter drifted through memory, tangled with the voice at the office. Amara doesn't notice anything, it had said. I clenched the blanket tighter. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I trusted too much. But I pushed the thought away. I promised myself, tomorrow, I would focus. I would trust the people I loved. I closed my eyes, not knowing that everything I clung to was about to collapse. Surprise, I whispered as I pushed open the door, holding a box of cupcakes. The sound that answered me wasn't surprise. It was breathless laughter, low and wrong. Amara, Liam's voice cracked. I froze. Ava's hair spilled across my couch. His shirt was half undone. Her face flushed red when she turned. Don't, I whispered. Wait please, it's not. He reached for me. I dropped the box. Cupcakes hit the floor, frosting smearing the rug. My chest tightened. Amara, let me explain, Ava stammered, pulling the blanket up. There's nothing to explain, I choked out. My keys slipped from my hand as I stumbled back. Don't walk out, Liam begged, but I ran. My feet barely touched the stairs. The night air burned my lungs. The office lights buzzed to bright the next morning. I held coffee like it might anchor me, but my hands shook. Amara, Richard Caldwell's voice cut through. Step into my office. I swallowed. Now, yes now. Inside, his smile was polished steel. We've noticed some irregular reports. What kind of irregularities? I asked, keeping my voice calm though my stomach dropped. Numbers that don't align. Approvals that seem rushed. I blinked. I prepare clean files. If something's wrong, I want to see it. He tapped the desk. I'll have Clara walk you through her findings. Clara leaned against the wall, arms folded. Her smirk sliced like glass. Good morning, Amara, she said sweetly. Funny how these errors line up under your account. My jaw clenched. Show me the reports. Her smile widened. I knew you'd say that. She slid papers across. I scanned the pages. Dates blurred. I heard my heart beat louder than the words. These signatures aren't mine, I said firmly. Richard's. Gaze was heavy. Then you'll cooperate fully while we review. Of course, I answered, voice steady though inside I screamed. When I left his office, Clara whispered, tough week. You look pale. Don't worry about me, I muttered. Oh, but I do, she replied, eyes glittering. I forced a thin smile. Enjoy it while you can. Her smirk faltered. Just for a second. At my desk. My phone buzzed. Liam. It's not what you think. I stared at the words until they blurred. My chest ached. Another buzz. Ava. Please. I panicked. I didn't mean for it to happen. I turned the phone. Face down. Rough morning? My coworker Mark asked gently as he passed by. Something like that, I whispered. He hesitated. If you need backup in meetings, just say so. Thank you, I murmured. But my thoughts weren't on meetings. They circled back to my living room, my couch, Liam's face, Ava's eyes. Tea lunch. I sat alone in the break room. My hands were locked around a plastic fork I hadn't used. Ava's voice replayed in my head. Amara, I panicked. Panicked? I muttered aloud. Into my husband's arms? The bitterness tasted sharp on my tongue. Richard's words cut through next. Irregular reports. And Clara's smirk. Funny how these errors line up under your account. I pressed my forehead to the table. Someone cleared their throat. I lifted my head. Clara stood there again. You know, you should take a vacation, she said. Might clear things up. Or maybe you should mind your own business. I shot back, her lips curved. Touchy. Calculated. I corrected. She blinked surprised. When I returned to my desk, Liam's name lit my screen again. I answered this time. Amara, listen. He rushed. It was stupid. I was drunk. I don't even know how. Don't. I interrupted. Don't insult me with excuses. It didn't mean anything. It meant enough for you to ruin everything, I said, my voice breaking. Silence filled the line. Please, he whispered. I'll fix it. You can't fix this, I replied. Not with words. Not with begging. Don't leave me. I closed my eyes. You already left me the moment you touched her. I hung up. That night, Ava tried calling. I ignored it. Then a message. I'll explain if you let me. Please. My fingers hovered over the screen. I typed. No explanations will change what I saw. I deleted it. Instead, I left the phone face down again. By midnight, I sat at my kitchen table staring at untouched tea. Betrayal at home. Suspicion at work. I whispered to the empty room. My chest hurt with every breath, but somewhere in the ache, a voice rose steady. Don't collapse. Don't break. Fight. I straightened in the chair, gripping the mug even though it was cold. Show me the reports, I repeated to myself. I would demand truth at home, at work, everywhere. The glass had shattered, but I was still standing in the shards. The coffee shook in my hand as I sat at my desk. I hadn't slept. Not really. Every whisper in the hall felt like it carried my name. Amara, HR's assistant, poked her head in. They'd like a chat, of course, I said though. My voice cracked. Inside the glass office, a woman from HR smiled politely. We've heard rumors. Rumors spread faster than truth, I muttered. Then you'll have no problem clarifying. I'll answer anything, I said, fingers gripping the chair. I did nothing wrong. Her pen scratched paper. We'll be in touch. By noon, I couldn't breathe. I dialed Noah. Amara? His voice warmed instantly. What's wrong? Everything, I whispered. Where are you? At work. I can't, my voice broke. Stay put. I'm coming. Noah pulled up outside, windows down. Get in. I slid into the passenger seat. My chest loosened just a little. You look like hell, he said gently. Thanks, I muttered, wiping my face. I mean it, you need air, food, sleep. I need answers, I snapped. He glanced at me, steady. Then we'll start with someone who can help you stand. He drove me to a small office, calm beige walls and a quiet sign. Dr. Grace Miller, therapy and counseling. Noah, trust me, he said. Just talk. I hesitated, then followed him in. Doctor. Grace greeted me with calm eyes. You must be Amara. I nodded. Yes. Come in. Sit down. The room smelled like lavender. I perched on the edge of a chair. Tell me what brought you here, she said. I stared at my hands. my husband Liam, and my best friend. My throat closed. Her voice was soft. Breathe through the storm. Try again. They betrayed me, I whispered. And now at work, they think I'm a liar. A thief. Her pen didn't move. She just watched me. Name your pain, she said. It's not weakness. I blinked hard. I feel humiliated. Small. Stupid. Good. That's honest. Now, what do you want to feel instead? Safe, I said. In control. Then let's find steps to get there. Tears blurred my vision. I don't know how. You will, she said firmly. Not today, but you will. I broke down then, ugly sobs ripping my throat raw. Noah's hand touched my shoulder. I've got you, he whispered. Doctor. Grace let me cry until the storm passed. When I could finally speak, I choked out. I feel like my life is gone. It isn't gone, she said. It's changing. You're allowed to grieve and still rebuild. Her words sank into me like steady anchors. Hours later, Noah dropped me home. You want me to stay? I'll be fine. I lied. You're not alone, he said. Remember that. I nodded. Thank you. That night, I sat in silence until a knock rattled the door. Amara, it's me. Liam's voice called. I froze. Please, open the door, he begged. I pressed my forehead to the wood. You made your choice. Now live with it. You're overreacting, he snapped. It wasn't what you think. I laughed bitterly. I saw it, Liam, with my own eyes. It was a mistake. You don't trip into someone else's arms, I hissed. Silence stretched. Finally, he muttered. You regret this. No, I whispered, my voice sharp now. You will. I turned the lock louder than necessary, cutting him off. I sank against the wall, heart pounding. For the first time in days, anger burned stronger than despair. Doctor. Grace's voice echoed. Name your pain. It's not weakness, I whispered to myself, humiliated. Small, stupid, but not broken. The words steadied me. I looked at the door. Liam's shadow was gone. My chest rose, shaky but certain. Noah's words circled next. You're not alone. For the first time, I believed him. When the alarm rang, I didn't stay curled under the blanket. I sat up. My body ached. But something inside me had shifted. No more begging, I whispered. No more waiting. I opened my laptop, scrolling through old emails. The numbers jumped out like bruises. Clara, I muttered, reading the reports again. You're sloppy. Signatures appeared too neat, dates too tight. I opened Richard's approvals. Too quick to perfect. My phone buzzed. Liam's name lit up. Amara? His voice came soft, careful. We can fix us. I almost laughed. I am fixing me. Don't be cruel, he pleaded. You taught me cruelty, I replied, then ended the call. Later, in Dr. Grace's office, I tapped my foot. You seem different today, she observed. I've decided to act, I said. How? By collecting truth. Every receipt, every file, every lie. She leaned forward. And what does that give you? Control. Her eyes softened. Good. Anger can drown you, but focused anger can carry you. I nodded. I won't collapse. Then tell me, what's your first step? I inhaled. Expose them. That night, I searched contacts until a familiar name appeared. Zoe Carter, college friend turned tech reporter. I dialed. Amara? Her voice carried surprise. It's been years. Too many, I said. But I need help. What kind of help? The kind that deals with hidden corruption. A pause. Then, if I find proof, will you look? If it's clean, she said firmly, I'll dig. But no half-truths. You'll have clean. Then I'll listen. Her trust steadied me more than I expected. The next day at work, Clara cornered me by the copier. Rough week? She asked sweetly. Just busy, I said, flipping through pages. You might not be busy much longer, she whispered. Careful, Clara, I answered. Your cracks are showing. She blinked. What cracks? The ones you patched with. My name. Her smirk faltered. I walked away. That evening, Noah stopped by. You look wired. I've started collecting, I said, showing him files spread across the table. He frowned. This looks dangerous. So is silence. You sure you want to fight this way? I don't see another way. He rubbed his temples. Just don't lose yourself. I looked at him. I already lost myself. Now I'm finding her. He nodded slowly. Then I'll back you. At midnight, I printed timelines, receipts, every tiny inconsistency. My apartment filled with paper piles. When Liam knocked, I didn't flinch. Amara, open up, he begged. No, Please, just talk. We talked. You lied. It was one mistake. You made two, I said coldly. Her and me. Silence. Then, you're overreacting. I turned back to my laptop. Not anymore. The next morning, Zoe called. Read the samples you sent, she said. These are big. Big enough to bury careers? Big enough to spark investigations. Will you help? Yes. But careful, Amara. This isn't just about them. It could drag you too. I'll take the risk, then keep collecting. And watch your back. I've been watching since the day they laughed at me. Zoe exhaled. That fire, I remember it from college. Don't let them smother it. I won't. At therapy again, Dr. Grace asked, how's your storm today? Controlled, I said. Show me how. I pulled out a folder. Timelines, receipts, emails. She smiled faintly. Organized pain, organized justice. I corrected. And where does Liam fit in this? He doesn't. Not anymore. Her eyes searched mine. Then you're ready to move forward. I'm not just moving, I said. I'm striking. That night, I spread papers across the floor, whispering, every lie stacks like cards, and I'm pulling them one by one. I could still hear Liam's soft voice, Ava's laughter, Richard's polished smile, Claire's smirk, but louder than all of them was my own voice, steady now, no more begging the ocean. I will swim. I gathered the pages into neat piles, taped labels across folders, and whispered again, I choose the fire, and for the first time, the flames didn't scare me. They lit the way. Ava's message lit my screen before sunrise. Can we meet? Please. I'm scared. I typed back. Scared of what? Her reply came instantly. Everything. Him. You. Us. Then talk. I wrote. Not over text. In person. I stared at the glowing words. My fingers hovered. Then I shut the phone off. That evening, Liam sat across from me at the table, stabbing his fork into dinner. You've been distant, he said. I wonder why. Don't start. His phone rang. He glanced at the caller ID, jaw tightening. Who is it? I asked. My boss. He stood quickly. I need to take this. In the hallway? It's private. I watched him disappear, voice muffled, urgent. My stomach twisted. When he returned, he forced a smile. Work drama. Of course, I said flatly. Work the next day. Clara stood at the front of the conference room. She flashed her usual smug grin. This quarter shows a 20% rise, she declared. Really? I asked, flipping open my folder. Because I see 15. Want to check again? Her cheeks flushed. There must be a typo. No rush, I said calmly. Take your time. Murmurs rippled around the table. Richard cleared his throat. Clara, double check your data. Yes, sir, she mumbled. I leaned back, voice light. Happens to the best of us. Richard's eyes flicked to me. His smile tightened, the edges cracking. After the meeting, he stopped me in the hall. Interesting performance, he said. I was just clarifying numbers, I replied. Careful, Amara. No one likes a show off. I wasn't showing off, I said evenly. Just keeping things accurate. His jaw ticked, but he walked away. That night, I called Zoe. I tested Clara today, I told her, and she stumbled. Richard didn't like it. Good. Zoe said, pressure shows cracks. I've got more files lined up for you. Send carefully. Truth is heavy, Amara. Carry it carefully. I can handle it. Don't get reckless, she warned. These people won't hesitate to bury you. Let them try, I said, my voice steady. Later, Noah drove me through the quiet streets. The box I had mailed to myself weeks ago waited at the post office, locked behind a clerk's glass window. You're sure about this? He asked as we walked inside. Yes, it's backup. Proof they can't touch. The clerk slid the box forward. I hugged it to my chest like armor. Noah glanced at me. You're scaring me, Amara. Good, I said softly. They should be scared too. Back home, I set the box on the table. Open it, Noah urged. Not yet. Why not? Because knowing it's here is enough for now. It's safe. He studied me. You've changed. I had to, he sighed. Just don't forget who you are. I haven't, I said. I'm remembering. Later, Ava texted again. I can't sleep. He's pulling me under. Then let go. I typed back. It's not that simple. She replied. It is, I wrote. Choose truth or drown. She didn't answer. Liam knocked on my door near midnight. Amara, we need to talk, he said. I didn't move. please. I know I've hurt you, but you don't have to fight me too. I opened the door just enough to look at him. I'm not fighting you. I'm watching you fall. His face tightened. You think you're strong now? I don't think, I said coldly. I know. I shut the door. I lay in bed afterward, heart steady, not racing. Their fear was showing, thin cracks in once perfect smiles. For the first time, I wasn't the one breaking. The law office was plain, no gold plaques, no pretentious art, just silence, books, and a single desk where Avery Brooks waited. You're Amara, they said, rising. Yes. My voice felt smaller than I wanted. Sit. Tell me everything. So I did. I laid out reports, receipts, timelines. When I finished, Avery leaned back, hands folded. We move slow, they said quietly. We move right. Understand? Yes. No shortcuts. No explosions. You want this to stick. We build it piece by piece. That's what I want, I said. Something they can't wriggle out of. Good, Avery said. Then we'll begin. We spread papers across the desk. These, Avery pointed, are forged approvals. I never signed those. I believe you. But belief isn't proof. Dates, signatures, witnesses, that's proof. I nodded. These forms, they continued, are backdated. Obvious to an expert, but we'll need affidavits. Can you get them? I asked. I can, but I need you steady. I'll be steady. Avery's eyes flicked to me. We'll see. That night, I stood in my apartment, practicing in the mirror. My name is Amara, I said out loud. I kept accurate records. I refused to falsify data. Again, my name is Amara. I saw inconsistencies. I reported them. Noah leaned against the doorway, arms crossed. Talking to yourself? Practicing, I said. You sound strong. I have to. You're doing this for real, aren't you? Yes, I said. For real. The next day, Dr. Grace folded her hands. How are you balancing the rage? I keep it in a box, I said. Describe the box. Black, heavy. I only open it when I need fire. And when you do, I burn the right things. She smiled faintly. You don't have to burn everything to stay warm. I know. That's why I'm here. To make sure I don't. Then tell me, what do you want most? Justice, I said. Clean, undeniable justice. Then keep sharpening. She replied. T work. Liam called my phone. I declined. Moments later, another buzz. I need access to your files. Just temporary. I typed back. No, he replied instantly. Don't be dramatic. It's important. Still no, I wrote. You regret this. He shot back. I put the phone down. Not this time, I whispered. That evening, Avery and I met again. These accounts, they said, tapping a stack, are tied to shell vendors. Money loops in circles, and Richard signed every approval. Yes, which makes him liable. But we need to prove intent. How? Patterns, testimonies, digital trails, and maybe someone inside willing to talk. My mind flicked to Clara. That night, I stayed late. I heard footsteps by the copier. Clara. She slipped papers into her bag, her hands shaking. Working late? I asked softly. She jumped. Amara, you're copying spreadsheets. It's none of your business. It's all of my business, I said. Her eyes darted. You don't know what you're talking about. I know enough. You don't have to go down with them. Her lip trembled. You think you're better than me? No, just smarter. She looked away. Leave me alone. I walked past her, whispering, one day you'll wish you had listened. The next morning, Zoe called. Got your packet, she said. Clean so far. Good. But you're missing the human piece. People crack stories wide open. I'm working on that, I said. Then work faster. These people are already twitching. I can see it, I said. Their smiles don't reach their eyes anymore. Push harder, she urged. I will, later. Noah drove me again. Papers and boxes filled his trunk. Feels like smuggling, he muttered. It's survival, I replied. Where to? Avery's office? He whistled low. You trust this lawyer? I do. And Zoe? I trust her hunger for truth. And yourself? I stared at him, more than I ever did before. When we unloaded boxes, Avery scanned the labels. Good, they said. You're methodical. I want this airtight. You're learning, Avery said. You're building a blade. A blade? Yes. Sharp enough to cut lies apart. Strong enough not to break. I exhaled slowly. Then keep sharpening me. Avery nodded. I will. That night, I sat alone with the folders. Liam's messages, Ava's silence, Clara's trembling hands, they all circled in my mind. I whispered, "You thought I was weak, but I'm building something you can't touch." The files stared back at me, cold, heavy, undeniable, and for the first time, I believed I had a weapon. Zoe's voice came through the line, sharp and certain. "I traced the accounts, Amara. Caldwell's vendors are shells. Guess who feeds into them?" "Liam," I said flatly. "Yes, his investment circle. Clean on the outside, rotten underneath. Money loops until you tilt it under the light." I gripped the phone. "So they're tied and tangled. If this gets out, they burn together." "Good," I whispered. "Send me everything." "You'll have it," Zoe said. "But be careful. Snakes bite hardest when cornered." "I'm ready," I said. The next day, I asked Clara to meet at a quiet coffee shop. She walked in, jittery eyes darting. "Why here?" she asked, sliding into the booth. "So you feel safe," I said. "I don't feel safe anywhere." I leaned forward. "You forged the timestamps." Her hands shook. Richard made me." "You still did it." Tears welled in her eyes. "He said if I didn't, I'd lose my job." "You won't lose it now. You'll lose everything if you stay silent." She looked at me, desperate. "What do you want from me?" "Testify. Put it in writing." "I can't." "You can." I cut in. "And Avery will protect you." Her lips trembled. "If I do this, he'll come after me." "Not if we get there first." Silence stretched before she whispered, "Okay, I'll testify. But I need protection." "You'll have it." I called Avery that night. "She's flipping," I said. "Clara?" "Yes." She admitted forging. "That's huge," Avery said. "We'll draft affidavits, witness statements, immunity requests. If she signs, we've got the spine of the case." "She's scared." "She should be. But fear makes people talk." "I'll prepare the documents." "Thank you," I whispered. "Stay steady," Avery reminded me. "I am steady," I said. Later, outside my building, Ava waited. Her face was streaked with tears. "Amara," she choked. "Please, I need to talk." I folded my arms. "Say it." "He promised me everything," she sobbed. "He said I'd have a future with him. Now it's falling apart." I glanced at her hand. No ring, just shaking fingers. "You thought betraying me would give you more," I said. "Now you've got nothing." Her eyes begged, "Help me." I shook my head. "I'm not saving you, Ava. Save yourself. Tell the truth." She flinched like I'd slapped her. "Do you hate me that much?" "I don't hate you," I said quietly. "I just see you clearly now." My phone buzzed that night. "Liam, you're a monster," he spat as soon as I answered. I stayed silent. "Do you hear me? You're destroying me." "Still?" I said nothing. "You think you're strong?" His voice cracked. "You're nothing without me." I ended the call. The next morning, Noah drove me to Avery's office with Clara in the back seat. She twisted her hands the whole ride. "I'm scared," she whispered. "You'll be fine," Noah said gently. She looked at me. "What if they don't believe me?" "They will," I said firmly. "Because I'll back you." Her eyes filled. "Why? After everything I did to you?" "Because truth matters more than revenge," I said. She nodded, biting her lip. In Avery's office, Clara signed slowly, hand trembling. "There," Avery said, sliding the paper back. "It's official. You've given sworn testimony." Clara exhaled like she'd been holding her breath for months. "You're safe now," Avery told her. "Am I?" she whispered. "As safe as you can be," Avery said. "Stay quiet. Stay clean." She turned to me. "Thank you." "Don't thank me," I said. "Thank yourself for finally choosing right." That night, Zoe called again. "Clara's statement is gold," she said. "But Richard will smell it soon. And Liam? He's unraveling. He already called me a monster." I replied. She snorted. "Classic projection. Hold steady. The cracks are spreading." "They're more than cracks," I said. "They're threads snapping." "Then pull harder," Zoe said. "I will." Back home, another text from Ava glowed. "I don't know what to do. He's turning on me too." I typed. "Then tell the truth." This time, she didn't reply. I sat in silence. The weight of Clara's signature, Ava's tears, and Liam's rage all circling me. For once, none of it shook me. Their world was collapsing, thread by thread, and I wasn't holding it together for them anymore. I was pulling it apart. The ballroom shimmered with chandeliers, but all I saw was the stage Richard had built for himself. Gold banners, crystal glasses, polished speeches, a charity gala to hide the rot underneath. Avery leaned toward me at the entrance. "Stay calm. Blend in," I will, I said, smoothing the black dress I'd chosen. Simple, unforgettable only to me. Zoe handed me a pen. Recorders live. Don't lose it. I clipped it into my clutch. I won't. Noah adjusted his collar, pale but steady. Avery slipped a wire beneath his jacket. If he pressures you, just say the line. I told him. I don't want trouble, Mr. Caldwell. Noah nodded. Got it. Promise me, I whispered. I promise. The music swelled as Richard strode through the room, laughter booming. His wife clung to his arm, his smile wide enough to blind. I kept to the edges, champagne glass untouched in my hand. Then a voice hissed behind me. You shouldn't be here. I turned. Liam. His suit was sharp, his eyes sharper. Neither should you, I replied. He leaned close by the art wall. You can't win. I smiled faintly. I already did. I survived you. His jaw clenched. You think this ends with me ruined? You'll go down too. I'm not the one lying on paper, I said softly. Or in bed. He flinched, eyes darkening, but I stepped away before he could answer. Ava peered near the buffet, her hands trembling as she reached for me. Amara, please, she whispered. What now? I asked, cold. Richard, he threatened me. Said, if I don't keep quiet, he'll destroy my career. I tilted my head. So he's turning on you too. Her lip quivered. I didn't think it would get this bad. You chose him, I said. Now choose yourself. Tears welled. I don't know how. Tell the truth, I whispered. It's the only way. Across the room, Richard laughed with a donor. Noah drifted closer, clutching his drink. I hear the auditors are restless, the donor said. Richard smirked. Managed. They're always manageable with the right incentives. My pulse hammered. The pen in my clutch glowed red, recording every word. What about discrepancies? The donor pressed. Richard chuckled. Discrepancies don't exist if you know who signs the papers. Noah's hand trembled on his glass. I don't want trouble, Mr. Caldwell, he said softly. Richard slapped his shoulder. Then don't look too hard, son. Perfect. The wire caught it all. Zoe slipped past me, whispering, got it. Every word. Good. I whispered back. Your brother's brave, she added. I glanced at Noah. He looked pale, but his eyes were steady. Yes, I said quietly. He is. Richard's wife clinked her glass for silence. A toast, everyone. The crowd turned as Richard lifted his glass. To integrity, to generosity, to trust. The words nearly made me laugh. I leaned close to Ava. Listen well. He's hanging himself. Her hands shook. He doesn't even realize. They never do. I whispered. After the toast, Richard approached me, smile fixed. Amara, he boomed. Glad you came. Wouldn't miss it, I said evenly. He studied me, eyes sharp behind the charm. You've been restless. Truth does that to me, I replied. His smile froze. Careful, always, I said, stepping aside. Liam intercepted me again near the exit. You think you've trapped him, he said, but you're trapped too. I met his gaze. No, Liam, I'm free. You're the one locked in your lies. You're colder than I ever knew, he hissed. No, I said softly. Just done with the fire you set. I left him standing there, fists tight, mask slipping. Outside, cool air hit my lungs like relief. Noah joined me, tugging at the wire. Did it work? He asked, breathless. Yes, I said. You did perfectly. He exhaled hard. I thought my knees would give out. You were strong, I told him. Stronger than I expected. He smiled faintly. Guess it runs in the family. Avery stepped out after us, briefcase in hand. We have what we need. Enough to pin him? I asked. More than enough, Avery said. And his arrogance gave us the rest. Zoe waved her phone. The recorder's solid. I'll duplicate it tonight. I nodded. Then it's time. As we walked away from the glittering hall, Ava lingered by the doors, face pale, eyes red. Amara, she called weakly. I paused, but didn't step closer. Her voice cracked. He promised me everything. Now I see it was nothing. I looked at her shaking hands, empty, unringed. Then stop clinging to nothing, I said. Tell the truth. She didn't answer. I turned away, leaving her framed in the golden light of Richard's crumbling world. For the first time, I felt it, the hunter's calm. The courtroom was cold, brighter than I expected. Papers shuffled, whispers echoed. Avery leaned toward me. Stay calm. Answer only what's asked. I know, I whispered back. Zoe sat in the gallery, phone ready, eyes sharp. Clara shifted nervously beside her lawyer. The judge entered. We'll proceed, Avery stood. We submit testimony and evidence against Richard Caldwell, with corroboration from Clara Hayes. Richard's lawyer smirked. Baseless claims. Let's hear the supposed witnesses. Clara went first. Her voice trembled. I forged time stamps, she admitted. Richard told me to. I was afraid to lose my job. You did this willingly? The lawyer pressed. No, Clara whispered. I was threatened. You have no proof of that threat. She has her word, Avery. Cut in. And the documents. Clara signed her statement. The weight of it settled across the room. Then it was my turn. I stood, palms damp but steady. State your name, the clerk said. Amara Davis. You understand you are under oath? I do. The lawyer approached, smile sharp. Miss Davis, you claim you saw irregularities? Yes. What exactly did you see? I saw approvals signed too quickly. Reports that didn't match. I saved copies. Why save them? Because I refused to alter them. He leaned closer. Isn't it true you had personal motives? A vendetta? No, I said firmly. I had a duty to truth. The lawyer smirked. And yet your husband Liam Davis was tied to these investments. Surely that clouds your judgment. It clarified it, I answered. I refused to cover for him. Gasps rippled through the room. The lawyer tried again. You're painting yourself as a saint, aren't you? I shook my head. No, I'm just not a liar. Avery gave me a small nod, steadying me. The judge's voice cut through. Proceed with caution, counselor. The lawyer stepped back, irritated. No further questions. I exhaled slowly. During recess, I stepped into the hall. Liam was waiting. Please, Amara, he said, voice low. Don't ruin me. I stared at him. You did that yourself. I was desperate. It wasn't supposed to go this far. You chose greed, I said. Now live with it. His eyes glistened. I loved you. Then you should have protected me, not destroyed me. I walked away before he could answer. Back inside, Richard finally took the stand. His smile was intact, but sweat dotted his brow. Mr. Caldwell, Avery began. Did you authorize these vendors? I signed paperwork, yes. Routine? Vendors later traced to empty accounts? That's coincidence? Coincidence repeated dozens of times? Richard's jaw tightened. I manage a large firm. Errors happen. Avery slid the transcript from the gala across the table. Then explain your words. Discrepancies don't exist if you know who signs the papers. The gallery buzzed. Richard froze. That was taken out of context. He snapped. No context excuses fraud, Avery said coolly. The judge leaned forward. Enough. We'll deliberate. The gavel struck. The session paused. Outside, Zoe approached me quickly. It's live, she said, showing her phone. Headlines flashed. Caldwell under fire. Insider testimony and hidden links exposed. Photos of Richard, Liam, Clara, and me spread across the feed. Phones are lighting up, Zoe said. Investors are pulling out already. Good, I whispered. Avery joined us. The board just called an emergency session. They smell blood. Richard? I asked. Cornered, Avery said. His mask is falling. Reporters swarmed the steps. Amara, is it true your husband was part of the scheme? Amara, did Ava Bennett betray you too? I kept walking, steady, my words measured. The truth speaks louder than I do. Listen to the evidence. Flashes lit my face, but I didn't flinch. Noah slipped through the crowd to my side. You okay? Yes, I said, surprising myself. You didn't even shake in there, he whispered. I did, I admitted, but only inside. You're stronger than them, he said firmly. I have to be, I answered. By evening, news anchors replayed Claire's voice, Richard's arrogance, my testimony. Investors withdrew. The company's board announced an emergency session. Liam texted once more. You destroyed everything. I didn't reply. Instead, I stood at the window, watching the city lights flicker like sparks of a fire I had lit not out of rage, but out of truth. The masks had fallen. And I was still standing. For the first time in months, I slept through the night. When I woke, silence filled the room. No buzzing phone, no knocks, no fear. Just quiet. By afternoon, Ava stood at my door. Her eyes were swollen, her voice raw. I thought taking what you had would make me strong, she whispered. I studied her trembling hands. And did it? No, she said, tears falling. It hollowed me out. I lost everything. I breathed slowly. I don't forgive you. Her face crumpled, but, I continued, I won't step on you while you try to stand again. She nodded, clutching her chest. That's more kindness than I deserve, maybe, I said, closing the door softly, but it's all I can give. Later, my inbox pinged. Liam's name glared back. A long email waited. I was broken before you. Childhood scars, bad choices, wrong people. I loved you, but I didn't know how to keep you. Please understand I never meant to hurt you this way. I read it twice, then closed it without replying. Some words didn't need answers. Clara called once from an unknown number. I'm in a new city, she said quickly. Different firm, clean slate. I'm glad, I replied. You don't hate me? I hated what you did, I said. Not who you are when you choose better. Silence, then a shaky breath. Thank you, Amara. Don't thank me. Just live differently. I will. The line clicked off, leaving me lighter than before. One evening, Noah dropped by with takeout. You look better, he said, handing me noodles. Better? I smiled faintly. Or less haunted. He laughed. Real laughter that filled the room. Both. It was the first time I'd heard him laugh without heaviness. I let it sink into me like sunlight. In therapy, Dr. Grace folded her hands, studying me. You're not gripping the chair anymore, she observed. I don't feel like I'm drowning, I admitted. That's progress. I nodded. The storm passed. Your life belongs to you now, she said. The words hit deep. Yes, I whispered. It does. Weeks later, I walked into a small firm for my first day. No marble floors, no false smiles, just steady work and people who valued ethics over speed. The manager shook my hand. We believe in doing things right, Amara. That's all I want, I replied. As I settled at my desk, I looked out the window. No weight pressed on my chest. No shadows lingered behind me. For the first time into long, peace didn't feel like a dream. It felt like my life. The headline said it all. Richard Caldwell resigns in disgrace. Avery called me. It's over. Not for him, I said. For me, yes, Avery agreed softly. For you. Zoe texted. Liam's circle dropped him. No one's standing by. I didn't answer. Some endings didn't need my voice. Then Ava's message arrived. I'm in counseling. I've been giving statements, setting records straight. I want you to know I'm not hiding anymore. Attached was proof, emails she'd signed, declarations she'd made. I typed back, do it for yourself, not for me. I am, she replied. I left it there. I packed a small bag, drove until the city disappeared, and walked to the ocean. The air was sharp, the waves restless. I spoke aloud, my voice carried by the wind. I was not weak. I was healing. The water roared back like an answer. I had the power to ruin every last piece of them, I whispered. But I chose a clean cut instead of a slow bleed. Salt stung my lips, but I smiled. My justice was enough. I pulled out my phone and texted Noah. I'm okay. A heart came back. No questions, no demands, just love. I walked the shore, sand sinking under my feet, and promised myself I will build a life so strong that no one's betrayal can break it again. That was my ending, and my beginning.